All right. Full show here.
Yo.
There we go.
We're ready to roll, my friend.
Ready.
Outstanding.
All right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. The Heelcast is back. This is how many weeks in a row now?
Yeah, it's just trying to work out the kinks of the Twitter space. This is a little different, but we'll get there. We'll get used to it.
Goldberg. Goldberg. Are you muted?
Yo.
First of all, Goldberg, never reduce yourself to saying yo. You sound too much like RVE, all right? We would not want you to do that to yourself, all right?
I'm always try. I got to come up with a better greeting. I don't know.
And anything other than yo, it's already about as low as you can go. So just so you all know, Raven Effect, he did 2 weeks in a row. So we will hear from him again in the year 2027.
That was way too many times for RVE in the last 4 years to do 2 shows in a week.
I know, it's never happened.
No.
Well, I know he's watching that '90s show right now, so that's why he's missing out.
He's still vapping off of Jackie too, all these years later.
How could you not?
So
Good point.
I mean, she's no Jordan Grace, but
Come on, Goldberg. I am eating, you know.
oh. Goldberg, I hope you got a good Goldberg's gripe tonight.
I do.
Okay.
I got a good one.
Okay.
Probably has something to do with taking 30 minutes just to feed your dogs. And that didn't even count the cats. Folks, this guy has 10 cats, and it takes him 30 minutes to feed his dogs.
Well, listen, I got to feed them. They got to eat. Then I got to let them out in the back. I don't live in a barn like you. I don't have the luxury of just.
I'm not allowed in the house anymore, man. Wife kicked me out.
All right. We got the Heelcast going tonight. Daddy ass dude.
Your profile pic is tremendous.
Oh, thank you. I had to keep that running for sure.
I was talking to dude.
I knew you were talking to me. That's right. It's decay. It's decay back from when it was pure impact, dude.
You are the true Impact fan of this group, so
nice swerve there, Goldberg.
Definitely not Hurls. It's definitely not Hurls.
Nice.
Hurls, you like that?
I thought you would have, give me props on my Halloween Horror Nights picture, but hey, so what?
Let me take a closer look.
You know how hard it was to get that guy in the frame? He didn't want to take a picture with me, so.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
That they probably don't want to do something like that.
Yeah. No, they're not trying to be friendly.
Oh man, I didn't even know there was a person.
Yeah. That's a good one. Guys got jokes tonight.
Not you, the guy in the background. Not you.
Oh, but Scissor Me. Wait, are we negative this week, or are we regular Scissor Me Daddy Ass Dude?
Am I negative?
I called you negative Scissor Me Daddy Ass Dude.
I know, but I feel like I'm still in BQ's gimmick if I go negative.
All right, well, we'll call you Scissor Me Daddy Ass Dude then.
I think you should just scissor me Daddy Ass. I think that makes a lot more sense.
I think Peacock agrees, and all of our other fans listening, which is yes.
Hey, look, if Peacock is good with me, then I know I'm good. Because that man's got good taste. So I'm gonna take that as the greatest compliment in the history of compliments. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
RV, on the other hand, when he starts talking about just oh God, you know what I mean?
You got things to worry about.
I know. Sorry, Grace. He likes Grace.
Be nice if we could even get that fake sex page to listen today. But
you never know.
We got all right, so let's start it off. Scissor Me Daddy asked, dude, you got any you want to shout out anyone this week? Promote anything that you got going on?
I mean, we always got to promote Larkin. How do we not promote Larkin? Where is Larkin? Like, I expect we have one listener. It's half of them are Larkin.
Right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Somebody like scream at Larkin and tell him to get online. But yeah, I always got to give my buddy Larkin some love, and negative BQ. He's starting to scare me a little bit because he used to be a lot like you, Hurls, and then and now it's all gone.
Yeah,
It's
all
done.
left. It's all left. I
He's joined the dark side with Goldberg.
we're just jaded and bitter as time goes on. Is that a sign of old age, or is that just
Exactly.
is it
I
natural
gotta,
progression? I don't know.
I gotta go feed my dogs.
Well, that's the end of Goldberg for the night. At least he's not feeding his cats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're self-sufficient. They take care of themselves.
Goldberg, real quick, how many dogs and cats do you have again? Just so
Come
the
on,
listeners know.
the listener, 13 total.
Okay,
That's combining. So
that's more than Ozzy Osbourne had.
I'm
Okay.
not biting anyone's head off.
Hey, that was by mistake. All right, so we obviously in some much more sad news. We started off the week basically with a tragedy that happened to Jay Briscoe, who was involved in a car accident. It was a head-on collision. Just really sad. The guy was, really in the prime of his career, if you ask me, because, I mean, this is the biggest platform he's ever been on. And things were just looking really good. But, it's just cut short. And so, Goldberg, let's start with you. What was your reaction when you heard this, and what's your best memory of Jay Briscoe?
I mean, I think I'm the one who posted it, and I mean, I mean, how are you not shocked when you come across something like that? I mean, it really, every time somebody dies, especially unexpected, you get the same speech. You never know it could happen to you, but it's just so true. I mean, how completely unexpected and just awful. What an awful story. Um, I mean, I'm not the biggest ROH guy, but recently, and Hurls, maybe you can, or one of you can recollect what I'm talking about because I don't remember the event, but I feel like it was around the time AEW started. And this is, I'm going somewhere with this, but which event was it where I believe it was the Briscoes and maybe Bully Ray was in a match and they hopped the rail and attacked him? Does anyone remember what that was or when that happened?
I unfortunately
Or
I don't recall
or
because I'm
or
obviously not the biggest Ring of Honor fan, so I could not tell you that. Dude, what do you got on this one?
I mean, I stopped watching before Bully Ray got there. I used to watch it all the time, but I never watched. But Bully Ray was there. I certainly wasn't tuning in.
Okay, here I just found it.
It's called Karma, Bully Ray. It's called Karma.
So it was actually Enzo and Big Cass jumped the barricade and got in a fight with the Briscoes and Bully Ray, and it was at an ROH event, in 2019.
Okay, I actually remember Enzo
Yeah,
that happened. Wasn't that
yeah.
actually at the show in New York City? Wasn't that at the big one?
It was
I
at
thought that they did that at Madison Square Gardens.
says G1 Supercard.
That was the Madison Square Garden show.
Yeah, you might be right.
Which
You
is
might be
why
right.
that would be memorable because that was actually a memorable show.
Yeah, I just
Because it
remember
was a memorable
seeing it,
show.
but I remember watching the clip of it of when they hopped the fence and they started going at it, and I mean, nobody really knew. It was one of those moments: is this legit or not? Because Enzo and Cass at the time were kind of loose cannons, and with the Briscoes, you just never knew. They're one of the old school tag teams that was still around. That you don't know what's real, you don't know what's not real. They're not flipping, they're not diving off ropes. They're just an old school, solid tag team that knows how to cut a promo. I've seen their promos. know how to cut a promo, and it's just. I mean, just to not even talk about his work or any of that. It's just as a man and a guy who has a family. It's just an all around horrible situation.
Yeah, dude, what was your reaction when you heard?
Dude, you're right. It was at the Garden, by the way. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. I remembered it once you said about Cass and Enzo. It's tragic. Um, guy was 38 years old. Just I'm a decade older than him. I got kids. Take my kids everywhere. Do everything with my kids. Folks, put on your seatbelts. They do save lives. Um, uh, but yeah, it's tragic, And you asked, what's your favorite memory of Jay Briscoe? And I'm sure if Raven Effect were here, but like, man, there's three matches that they just did, right, with FTR, and they were insane. But that was who the Briscoes were, and I think Goldberg, I think you hit the nail on the head. They were old school, and I think my favorite memory of the Briscoes is just kind of the Briscoes. They were guys, and look, I've been to Sandy Fork, Delaware, okay, which is where they're built from, and they were born in Salisbury, Maryland, and I've been there a million times. Um, they were from Sandy Fork, Delaware. If you've ever driven through Sandy Fork, Delaware, these guys embodied it, and it was that sense of he knew who he was, and they just were themselves, and they never gave a crap. They didn't care about going to WWE. They didn't care about making tons of money. They were chicken farmers. God damn it, Mark still is. And and it's like this. The gimmick is they're dumb chicken farmers. That's their gimmick. But they were chicken farmers, and they represented chicken farmers, which are good old boys, right? Homegrown, don't care. They go out there, they put their bodies on the line in every single match. Their matches were hard hitting. I mean, freaking Jay kicked Mark's tooth out. Mark don't get it fixed. That's who he is, man. That's not just playing a gimmick. That's just being yourself. And we don't have enough of that in wrestling. We need more Briscoes. And that was always my thing, was that they were just, they were real. Do you know what I'm saying? They just embodied authenticity, and I guess maybe that's the word for them. And obviously Jay, they were authentic,
Mm-hmm.
and it was something special. And they were a great tag team too, and it's a great individual wrestler.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to touch on. Probably the first memory I have of them was I've been hearing how it must have been like 2008. I was hearing about their promos and how off the wall crazy they were, but the more and more as time went on, you realize exactly what you said. That was them. That was their true personalities. They didn't change for anybody. And I mean, Jay was Ring of Honor world champion. I remember he had a pretty solid run in that company, and I'm not even kidding.
Twice, multi-time.
That's amazing. I didn't watch Ring of Honor a lot, but I did. There was a few times around 2012, 2013, I did turn it on, and he was the champion at that time. And they were in that company pretty much the whole lifespan, and I think they could have been a lot bigger, but they almost felt like their home was Ring of Honor, and that's probably where they felt where they belonged. They obviously had a few early matches in TNA, but they were never signed, and Ring of Honor was using them quite a bit. So I think they just kind of developed a following there, and they were. I mean, when you think of Ring of Honor tag teams, I mean, there's a lot to come out of there. Just off the top of my head, you got the Wolves, you got the Briscoes, you got the Embassy. You had a lot of these great tag teams come, but the Briscoes, I think, have to be the best tag team to ever come out of Ring of Honor, especially
Oh, no doubt, no
with the
doubt.
longevity that they had there. There's just no comparison. I obviously got to see the Briscoes a lot this past summer with their run in Impact. I enjoyed it. I liked their feud with the Good Brothers. I thought it was actually one of the better Good Brothers feuds while they were there. Um, they were just a really entertaining tag team, and you guys hit the nail on the head. They were themselves. They cut great promos. they reminded me of guys where you could believe their gimmick. A lot of these guys come out there and you can't believe them. These guys, you knew they were legit. You knew they were 100% real. Everything they did was believable. And they were over as hell. And it's just really sad that Jay's life was cut short in such a tragic manner, too. You feel for him. And saying prayers for his daughter, because I know she's in critical condition. I haven't heard an update since. So you really hope that she turns out well. But, man, just a really terrible, terrible situation.
Praying for the whole family, and the family of the gal that hit him too. I mean, just praying for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just you never know when it can be cut short at a blink of the eye, and you never see it coming, and then something like that happens. So, yeah, it's just terrible. Does anyone else have any other Briscoe memories they want to share before we move on?
Well, I'd like to touch on the fact, like, why AEW was not allowed to do a tribute to him.
Yeah,
I mean,
pathetic.
is that
Pathetic.
like how I really I wonder how accurate that really is, because it's almost hard to believe that, like, the WB would be that, like, I don't understand. What's the story behind that? Why were they not allowed on TV to begin with?
So a few years ago, many years ago, okay, as in over a decade ago, it was in a long time. I'll have to look it up to find out when he made some tweets that were ill-advised, inappropriate, incorrect, and he said some things that were racially motivated, and so he got branded, and it was him. It wasn't Mark, but of course they're a tag team, so Mark kind of pays for it too. Kind of got branded, and they said that was the reason why WWE wasn't interested. Well, newsflash: WWE doesn't want that gimmick. I mean, it doesn't fit, right? And so rumor has it that they couldn't show up on AEW TV because Warner Brothers said they couldn't be there. Now, when you look at the matches that they had with FTR, how awesome would that have been on TV, right? When you look at the fact that they were Ring of Honor tag team champions, actually still are, right? How great would it be to get them on TV, right? There's so many matches to play out. It makes no sense when you think about all the schmucks that Tony Khan puts on TV on a regular basis that they wouldn't actually include, one of the greatest tag teams in the world, to be brutally honest with you.
Yeah, but to be that hard-headed after the guy just passed away,
Then that bugs the crap out of me. I mean,
that's hard to believe.
It sucks because look,
at least
people make mistakes.
A 10-bell salute,
right? I mean, they did flash up a picture and say, in memory of him. They did do that at the top of the show, right? But they couldn't actually like really do a full tribute. In my opinion, people do make mistakes. People do learn and grow from their mistakes. And I think that this was so long ago that I can understand people being upset at the time. And Warner Brothers, they're trying not to get their station to be boycotted, right? But man, at some point in time, people say dumb shit, and they do dumb shit, and he hadn't done it since. I'm sure he regrets it, or regretted it anyway. And I think at some point we just have to learn to forgive people in general as a society. There is a penance for things, and it's a shame that it's carried past this death, and that does bother me. Goldberg bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah. So Jay Briscoe dead, 38 years old.
Yeah,
Hug your kids.
Just a real tragedy, but I hope Mark carries the Briscoe name and legacy, and I hope he does it proud. I'm sure he will. But yeah, just absolutely horrible news. You hate to see it. All right, let's go on to the next news story. So last week when we were on, it was all kind of just happening so fast. We really didn't know what was going on with the sale of WWE or what, even if a sale is even occurring. But we got reports that WWE is trying to sell, and there's apparently 4 major players in this sale. One being Tony Khan himself, and the rumor is that he wanted to merge AEW with WWE. I don't know what to think of that one. Another one was Disney. Walt Disney apparently met with Nick Khan, met with Bob Iger. So there's that one. And then obviously Comcast is interested. That one I think would make the most sense for WWE since they're already on Peacock. But we also have the Saudis, which, yeah, we kind of already went into depth with that one. So, dude, give me your analysis of this and everything that's kind of been going on with Vince McMahon, because there's a lot going on there as well.
So let's start with just, the rumors and what the best landing place is and the most likely landing place is. Um, so Vince is obviously gonna sell a good bit of his stock and he's gonna make a fortune off of it, right? But he's not likely to sell all of it. They're not necessarily even likely to want him to sell all of it because he's been the mastermind, right? They're probably gonna want to try to bring Stephanie back at some, particularly higher salary than she was even making before. Probably all the more reason for her to resign and say I'm out. um, but to me, it's going to be kind of like when Impact's old, right? Everybody was like, go Billy Corgan, go Billy Corgan, go Billy Corgan. Oh God, Anthem got it. Oh, wait a minute, Anthem was a smart move, and why was Anthem a smarter move? Because Dixie Carter, she kept a certain percentage of the company, and she knew that 5% of it under Anthem was worth more than all of it under Billy Corgan. Um, yeah, all of it under Billy Corgan, actually. So I think it's going to go to the one that makes the most sense. And to me, it's either going to be Disney or it's going to be NBC. Yeah, their streaming is all with NBC and Peacock, but the SmackDown's on Fox, which is now owned by Disney, right?
Correct.
So
Yep.
Disney actually already got them on TV. So the question is, what channel and how would Peacock try to use them? Would Peacock decide, hey, we're just going to only put you on the network and make everybody get the Peacock network if they want to see WWE, or would they do something smarter like put on primetime TV? Disney could put SmackDown on and they could keep Raw back on Disney Plus or something along those lines. Um, I think it's one of those two. I think that the Saudis will help bid it up. I think it's ultimately worth more with one of those two. And I just, I'm sorry. I hate WWE. I hate everything about WWE. I don't want to see AEW merge with it. But let's face it, nobody needs to see Tony Khan trying to book any more shows than he already is. He can't write to save his life. He does not even try. Please God, no. And I think it would be awesome if like AEW bought WWE. It's just dear God above. Oh man, it's gonna be all dream matches that I don't want to see.
All right, going to our WWE defense team over here,
Oh,
Goldberg.
please. Come on.
Yep,
That is
yep,
not that.
yeah. Oh
No,
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
oh yeah, yes,
no.
yeah.
yes,
It
yes,
happened.
yes, yes. You are the WWE lawyer.
All
Oh,
right. Well, no. But here's the thing. I can't. I'm over the rumors, especially after last week. What was that last week when we were on the air and we read that they were selling to the Saudis? And I kind of downplayed it then too because it's just you don't know what's true and what's not nowadays. And with these wrestling reporters, and I'm doing the quotation thing, they're just they haven't been getting it right. And I'm not gonna. I'm just it's just hard to make a comment or a judgment until we kind of know what direction it's going in. Um, so I'm not. I'm just not. It's just. Do I believe Tony Khan could buy it? No, I really. I don't see that happening. I don't see them selling to the Saudis. Maybe Disney. Maybe Ted Turner comes back and fucking let's run this shit back. WCW 2.0. It'd
So
be the
why do
best.
you think Tony Khan can't buy it?
I mean, he could.
Okay, okay.
I guess he could. I shouldn't say he can't buy it, but do I see it happening? It's just hard to to envision that actually happening.
Oh, Vince's ego is too large to sell to
Yeah,
somebody like that.
yeah, exactly. I mean, he still has a
I,
choice at the end of the day. And do I think he would sell to the guy who's trying to surpass him? Nah, I don't think he'd go out like that. I mean, how many years does Vince have left on the earth? There's no way he's going to go out like that.
no, I
Um,
don't. I don't see that happening in a
and the whole
million years.
Saudi thing, let's be honest, it didn't happen yet, and they were getting buried for something that didn't even happen, right?
Now, let me ask you a question, Goldberg. I mean, you and I seem to be in camp. Vince is not selling to somebody whose last name is Khan and the first name is not Nick, right?
Yeah.
So we seem to be on this page. But what if, Tony and Shad came in and let's say WWE gets an offer for $4 billion. I'm making numbers up. It's going to be more than that. It's probably more like six. But let's say that they get an offer for $4 billion. And let's say that Tony and Shad come in at $5 billion. And does neither one of us thinks that Vince is selling it at five. He's selling it at four, right? Now, what does that do to Vince when he takes the other deal? What are the stockholders saying now?
You
Is
mean if he
dude
goes
going
with
to
a
jail?
lesser?
If he takes the lesser number because it's somebody that he wants to sell it to, what does that do for lawsuits on Vince now?
That's a
It,
tricky
it would be
situation.
it would be interesting because he ain't selling to him. He just
I,
isn't happening.
I don't think if they offer him 10, I don't think he'd sell to them. I
Right,
just
I
don't.
agree.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. Pearls, what do you think?
I don't see it at all, honestly. I just there's no way that they're gonna let WWE kind of be bought out. It's just and I understand Tony Khan's keeping Ring of Honor afloat, and maybe he would probably do the same for WWE.
Is he still doing that?
I mean, yeah, I think
Is,
so.
is that is that still a thing?
I
Is
mean,
what still thing?
The Ring of Honor thing, is that like still happening?
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
They keep showing that they said that they're gonna have a show, right? And what he announced it as a YouTube show. What did he announce the show as? He announced it. I don't
It's
remember. It
it's
wasn't
it's on the
recorded.
fight. Is it the Ring of Honor streaming service?
Right, right,
Yep.
right. It's on their streaming service. That's what it is.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, he's still doing it. Um, and he keeps putting their wrestlers on TV and spots they don't deserve to be in, and not putting people on TV that probably should be there. But hey, the good news is that now that Brian Cage is with Ring of Honor, we're finally seeing him on Dynamite.
I was just about to say that. It's actually working out a little bit better for him.
It's working out better for him now.
Um, yeah, I don't see it, Goldberg. I don't see Tony Khan buying WWE. I don't think it's going to get sold to him. Um, unless he's ponying up a ton of money, like a lot more than anybody else is. I don't even know if it gets sold at that point either.
It doesn't. It
Yeah.
doesn't. We should talk about something that's realistic because this it's just yeah,
It's a pipe dream, right?
it's a pipe dream.
Mm-hmm.
It would be funny though. God, I would not stop smiling for a week.
that would be something, honestly. Just to see like the Goldbergs of the world just freak out.
Oh my God, you really think I care?
I would actually send Vince McMahon a letter just with a big picture of me laughing at him in it. Like.
Yeah.
But Goldberg, I did like your other idea where Ted Turner comes in and buys it.
I mean,
And renames
that's
it
best
W-
case scenario. Let's be honest.
and then
Well, then I'll say this much: Vince got great return on his money.
yeah, yeah. Hey Vince, I'm in the wrestling business.
Could we before we move on, could we touch on Nick Khan's interview? Did anyone hear that? Or
No, let's
No,
or at
talk
least
about it. Let's hear
no.
it.
Bring it to the table.
the snippet that I heard on that was posted all around today, where they asked him about AEW and Tony Khan, and his response his response was regarding Tony Khan, and this is not word for word because I'm not going to look it up right now, but his response, his opinion on Tony Khan is he seems like a nice kid. Called him a kid, and his opinion on his father is he thinks um, Shad Khan is a complete success story. He's very impressed with what he's done, and buying his kid a wrestling company is very impressive. And he finished the conversation by saying, uh, "Anybody can." Oh man, I got to look up this quote because it's a good one. It's a doozy. Hold on, let me look this up. I want to get this. I want to get this exactly right.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine because I do want to hear this.
I can't wait for this.
Nick Khan, guy that I never even knew about until like a year ago.
I am with you. I didn't know either.
Yeah.
He went to school with The Rock or something.
Oh, that's how he got to where he is.
Yeah, well, no, they go way back, but
Wow.
Let's see. Okay. His exact quote was, "Anybody can run a business at a loss,"
Oh,
with
referring
respect to AEW.
now, okay. He
anybody can take a company that is just hemorrhaging dollar bills coming at them instead of hemorrhaging and continue to make money. Like he literally walks into a situation where this company is just thriving. He didn't make any money. Fuck him. Sorry, Hurls, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just gonna say that he's kind of taking the Triple H route of just doing a little shot here and there, kind of smug. That's the typical WWE way. So he fits right in there. That's all I was gonna say about that. I honestly don't know where this guy came from. Or I mean, yeah, he's friends with The Rock, but like, how does one like him get like how does he get to in the position that he's in? I don't know. I don't get that.
I'm not worried about where he came from, but I know where I think you should go.
AEW,
Yeah, that's it.
the Khan brothers.
That's right. That's right. I guess he's not planning on sticking around if Tony and Shaw do it. Maybe he's trying to get them to want to bid on it to piss him off and get him out so he can drive the price up.
I I I don't I don't get this, but yeah, to kind of wrap this up. Dude, when do you think this will all be settled by? Do you think this is like 6 months down the road, or do you think it's a little quicker than that?
Oh man, I have no idea. I generally tend to think these things just take a whole lot of time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is not something that happens very quickly, right? But that having been said, we don't know what conversations been having had in the back over the last few years, right? I mean, it's not like they haven't talked about selling it for the past couple of years. So for all we know, they've gotten close with somebody,
Yeah.
and now Vince is coming in at the end to get it done. So yeah, you typically say these things take a long time, but it might have been in progress for a long time. Eh,
Well,
Yeah,
at least it's not. I don't think it's going to be as nerve wracking as not being able to afford the show and then having someone come in and lend you the money, like what happened with Impact. So we
and it won't be quite as high profile as the sale of Twitter either, I should add.
yes.
Oh shit, we're on Twitter right now. I think we just lost our connection.
Oh, Elon Musk joined the. No, I'm just.
Sorry. I hear he's friends with RVE these days.
Hey, RV's back on, isn't he? Is he back
Is
on?
he is he back?
I think he. Yeah, I think it was just a week.
It was just a week.
I really want to know what he posted. All right,
He
so
can't help himself.
yeah. All right, so we have some wrestlers kind of switching companies. We have a few of them, and one I didn't post on the rundown, but so we'll just go through them. Frankie Kazarian, who had a rollover into, I believe it was 2024. It was about to come into effect. He asked for his release, and he ended up going to Impact. Now, does is anyone surprised by this? I'm not really surprised at all. The way they were. I mean, AEW really wasn't using him, and Impact wanted to use him, obviously, even when he was still in AEW. So, Goldberg, what's your thoughts on Kazarian signing with Impact Wrestling?
I mean, it's cool. Do I think it makes a difference? I love the Impact originals. I really do. They're the TNA originals. I love them, and it's just he's not really somebody that's going to make me tune in. I'm more interested. Wait, AEW dude, cover your ears, cover your ears for this one. Bully Ray interests me more than Kazarian does, and at this point in his career,
You're dead to me.
At this point in his career, I think he can do some cool things. I mean, maybe he could put a couple people over. And even though I still love to see the originals or the older guys winning titles, but I mean, I don't see him winning any title. Maybe he gets a heavyweight shot and gets beat, but I mean, at this point in his career, I just don't. It doesn't. Unfortunately, it doesn't interest me much. Am I surprised? No, and I'm not surprised when anyone leaves AEW because they can't book for shit. He doesn't know what he's doing. Tony Khan, the kid, we'll call him from now on. The kid doesn't know what he's doing, and it doesn't surprise me when anyone leaves. And I think there would be more to follow. But my question is, what is he? I don't know what kind of pay cut he took. Making less money, but I guess he had enough of just fucking just jiggling his balls all day and doing nothing. So wants to be back on. I can't say TV because they're really not on TV, but wants to be back in some storylines. So
They're on TV. They just don't get it.
oh, I get it.
All right, did that go over your head? It might have, but anyway.
Wait,
the dude.
Oh man, all I gotta say is Goldberg, you Bully Ray loving, AEW hating, Jordan disgrace fapping, WWE watching, son of a bitch, I hate you.
Wow, that was a pipe bomb.
God damn you! God damn you! God damn you! God damn you! You had to go there with Bully Ray. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Look, it only makes sense for Kazarian. Okay, Kazarian, he just wants to be loved. He wants to feel the love, and Impact gave him some love. Makes no sense for Impact. I love Kaz, but he's got the miles on him at this point. He's been beaten down. He's got he's usually gonna walk in and beat. It's like, dude, you couldn't even get a match on AEW Dark, right? I mean. He gets a championship match in Impact when he was wrestling on AEW Dark. It's just God, it's not a good look for Impact. And I love Kaz. And he did it the right way. He went and he said, "Hey, look, man, you're not using me. I want to work. And can you let me out?" And they went, "You know what, man? You've been good the whole time, and you're right. We're not going to use you. Go ahead and go." It's just a great way of doing business. He's a class act. He's a hell of a guy. I've always enjoyed him, but it's also kind of like, dude, you damaged goods at this point, like Jordan Disgrace and Bully Ray.
I was just gonna say though, like when SCU was first into AEW, they were like all over the storylines of the tag team division. I think they even won the titles twice.
They were the first. They were the first ever champions, and then they just said, "Yep, you're done. We don't need you anymore.
So
We'd rather put best friends on TV." That's what they said.
it's kind of like gosh, his Impact name was Mason Andrews, but Scorpio Sky. It's almost like they plucked him, put him with Ethan, All Cops Are Terrorists Page, and they did that whole faction with Dan Lambert, and Kazarian just kind of got thrown to the wayside. Am I wrong in saying that? Because I don't remember much that he did after leaving SCU.
Nothing.
I mean,
what a flop with SCU too. They didn't do shit except winning the titles on day one.
he also had that storyline where he was going after the Elite, and that was it. So after that, I think it's been pretty much dark. Maybe he was at Elevation. I'm not sure, but I think for Impact's point of view, I think they can absolutely use him in kind of like what Saban's been doing when he was a singles wrestler. He's gonna put on some good matches, but he's also gonna put a lot of people over. So I think that's what Kazarian's role is gonna be. I don't.
Who do they have for him to put over that's really actually going to go over right now? And I'm not trying to be an ass, but who can they really build to be a star? Like
Get
who
him,
do you look
Hurls.
at and say,
Tell him, Hurls. Come on.
I know, but who do you look on that roster and go, that guy? And I'm going to say a name that falls right into the whole Bully Ray and Jordan disgrace thing, but Cross, right?
Mm-hmm,
We interviewed Cross
mm-hmm.
early on, and it's like, this guy's got a star. This guy's gonna be a star, and he turned out to be a complete schmuck, but he still got that star vibe about him. Who's got that vibe on that roster today? That vibe.
So
Now I'm not talking
like a
they're a technician. They're good vibe.
right, right, like a guy where is big money. You can see it right when he comes in.
Correct.
And,
Correct.
yeah, who's gonna put him over? They don't have a guy like that right now. I can't think of anyone.
But they've
Goldberg?
also shit the bed. They've shit the bed with opportunities that they had with certain guys. Because to me, I'm promised I'm not going to bring Moose up in this podcast. I promised myself I wouldn't do it.
It's too late. You can't even say Moose because they're not gonna put Moose over. Moose
No, it's
doesn't need
not
him to
even
go
Moose.
over.
But one guy would have been. To me, I really like this guy. I know the sentiment isn't shared, but I think Ace Austin could have been a guy. Could have been.
Ace Austin.
Yeah.
This is a guy that makes Darby Allin look big.
Oh no.
I don't agree with that at all.
No, have you seen the size of Ace Austin's hammies, man? That guy's got like the biggest hammies in the.
Yeah,
Now
I
he
don't
is
agree with
short.
that.
I agree with you there. He
He's
is
booked
short,
at 5.
But so what?
He's 5'8".
He could be put over in
he
the
is
X
super
division.
small.
He's 5'8", 190.
He's
Okay, so what
but
he's
he's
booked
got
at.
that Taz build. Like Taz was really short, but yet
No, he could be
Cal-
put over in the X division. He doesn't have to be put over as a heavyweight champion of a company.
So he is listed as 5'8", 190. Darby Allin 5'8", 180. Okay, so you're only talking 10 pounds different. And by the way, Goldberg, I don't remember. I don't think an X division guy is going to carry the company. I think it's got to be a heavyweight guy. I know you agree with me on this. You're a heavyweight guy.
Well, wait, you think
Your name is Goldberg.
You think Kazarian is putting over heavyweight? Like, I wouldn't even be impressed if somebody beat Kazarian at this point in his career.
That is my entire point.
actually, wait, there is a guy. There is a guy. I think that could be a potential main event Impact. There's one
Big
guy.
Con.
Nick.
Guy.
No, Lex Luger.
Hey, you watch your mouth.
Hey, I'm telling you.
No, I think Joe Henry. I think Joe Henry could be that guy.
But he's a clown. Isn't he a clown?
He's a clown. That's the problem, man. I get it.
Good clown, though. I think he could transit. He's at least 6'4", 6'5".
He's got a great look and a great build, but I think he already buried himself in my book. I don't know.
Bingo. That's the problem with Pearls. By the way, I was a Joe Hendry fan when he sang "Joe Hendry Makes Things Better," and he would come and sing his intro. I think he's fun.
Played his own instruments, made the whole videos. Yeah,
he's fun. But
yeah,
but like, there's lots of fun characters, and none of them are Hulk Hogan or Lex Luger. Got to throw
Johnny Swinger's fun.
there.
Right.
Yeah, Johnny Swinger's fun. Right, but Johnny Swinger is not going to carry the company. So I agree that if they had brought him in and had not let him be himself, God, that's terrible. But I think the guy actually does have that. But nah, he's already buried himself. It's already over.
But what about a guy like Edge and Christian? I mean, you remember those guys were a bunch of goofballs for a while too. I mean, they were doing those those amazing matches with the Hardys and the Acolytes and the Dudleys. But I mean, eventually they kind of got over that comedy and became serious wrestlers. I think it's going to take a while. You got to kind of transition. You can't just do it overnight. But I absolutely think he's still young enough where I think you could turn him and make him a serious competitor.
Here,
but
listen, there's probably
then we'll talk.
There's probably 5 guys, and TNA used to do a good job of taking guys that were not considered heavyweights and putting them in the heavyweight division. Right? They took all those X division guys they took tag team guys and they put guys over. I think there are a couple guys on the Impact roster right now that have potential to maybe one day be a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a Steve Macklin. I don't think he's terrible. I think he has a personality. He gets heat. I don't think he's awful. I
He's a good guy who sticks to kayfabe.
Yeah, he's a
will
kayfabe guy. I forget Moose. He's out of the equation
He's
at
out.
this point.
So Macklin is billed at 6'1", 227. Okay.
Yeah.
Hendry is billed at 6'2", 231. Okay, so they're fairly similarly sized, right? And then MJF, he is billed at 5'11", 220 something, just to kind of compare
Okay,
him.
so Macklin could be a heavyweight guy. He could be.
But to be honest with me, I feel like MJF is too small.
I don't disagree with that either.
I feel like MJF is too small. That's why I threw him in there, because I'm like, I'm gonna take somebody who
he could.
He
he could be a Jericho too, though. I mean, Jericho's around that size.
In today's day and age, Macklin could pass as a heavyweight champion.
Yes.
And I'll give you a couple more real quick before we waste too much time on this. But I think mm-hmm. Heath Slater shouldn't have been palling around with Rhino this whole time. I think he should have had a singles run. You can quickly chime in if you want.
Cardona should probably be
too late for him.
Well, wait a minute. Heath Slater's 39 years old. Joe Hendry is 34 years old.
Yeah, but Heath could have been like the guy that comes from WWE. He was a big name guy. He could have come over and won the heavyweight. All right, forget him now. Then
he's only 37. He's only 37.
Like Drew McIntyre did.
Yeah,
Drew Galloway.
Okay, how about Diener? They're grooming this guy for something.
Yeah, he's the leader of the design. Possibly. You remember how Diener came in though? Like, remember back in 2009 when he came in, and he was teaming up with ODB. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. A guy who can transition from comedy. Eric Young is another good example of
with
that.
Diener right now, they're trying. So I'm saying either take the next step with this guy, or he's just going to be a mid-carder forever. And then
6'2", is not that big though. Although I always like Cody more than Jake, to be honest with you. I like Cody more. Just saying.
Well, I also Brian Myers. They fucked him up too, because he should have come in right away and competed in the heavyweight division.
He should have been the edge of Impact. He should be the edge of Impact.
Festus Jr. He's not interested in serious wrestling. He's Festus, is he not?
He's entertaining, and Festus wasn't entertaining to me.
No, but I mean, in Festus's most recent run with Impact, was he interested in being a serious wrestler, or was he interested?
No, he's Daddy.
Or was he interested in joking around and having his own pay-per-view with Carl Anderson?
Well, they were trying to be like the Outsiders, and it just wasn't working.
Not even close. And then the last one I would say would be Sami Callihan, but that'd be it.
I'd say he's too small. But I could buy some of these guys if they were used properly. I mean, that's kind of
well, that's what I'm saying. They got to be used differently, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. I'll just say this real quick though. My son watches with me now. He loves Sami Callihan. Like, anytime Sami Callihan does anything, he instantly perks up. Like, there's a lot of guys that he's just like, but Sami Callihan comes out, like, it gets him. So I think Sami is a guy that should be near the main event in Impact.
Yeah.
But
5'9".
You know.
This is only.
He's small.
Yeah,
his
personality makes up for his.
I like him though. I'm not gonna lie. So when I say about in the main event versus putting the company on the map, I put him in the main event there. I don't know that I can put him as they could be the guy to carry the company to new heights. There's a difference
Nobody can.
Yeah.
I think Moose could have.
Don't get me started. You stop it.
He probably
he deserve it.
He could have at least done some like Hardy level stuff where he got people talking like that normally don't come out of the woodwork. So I agree with you.
Totally agree. Moose could have been the one, and he's probably the only one on the roster who could have been the one.
Mm-hmm. I completely said that a million times.
They had the next big thing. They had
Well, they also had Eli Drake too, and We know how
Yeah, but
that
Moose
went
is a
down.
fucking specimen, man. They had
He
a
is.
specimen.
Well, but could you imagine like a properly built feud between a good built up Moose and a good built up Eli Drake? I mean, that would have been money.
Eli's awesome, but if we're talking size, he's MJF. Eli Drake. He's MJF.
He's a little bigger than MJF, but he's not Moose. Moose is a specimen, and Moose, my God, he got just ripped. It just lean as a mother. Oh
and he
my
learned
God.
to talk.
And he got a character. He got a character over and Mike's
He learned to talk.
Yep.
What a shame.
Yep.
What a shame.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to AEW now because I have a lot to say about this one. Willie Mack makes his AEW debut. Willie Mack, I was always a huge fan of. The guy, you can put him in almost any spot and the guy shines. And I'll never forget, like when Rich Swann, I can't even remember what happened to Rich Swann. I think he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Willie Mack had to go out there and to go after the tag team titles by himself against the North. It was like one of my favorite matches still to this day. I mean, just an amazing match. Willie Mack is a guy, great hand, but he's just not a world champion. And maybe that's why he didn't re-sign with Impact.
It might have something to do with the fact that him and Rich Swann look like they live in the alley.
I don't think that bothered him though.
No, I think that's what he was kind of going for, the South Central LA kind of, the pick. I think he was just kind of I don't think he cared. But dude, what do you got on Willie Mack in AEW, and where do you think I don't even know if is he signed yet, or is this just an appearance?
I don't know.
I
don't know. It's gonna be like everybody else. First of all, I watched Willie Mack on Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. Okay, it gotta be over a decade ago. I mean, God, how long has he been in Impact? And before then, he was at MLW, right? And
he was doing some stuff for MLW in between Impact. He might have been there before. I'm not sure. He was Lucha Underground though. It was kind of the one where he got.
But Willie Mack, like I'm watching this show and it's a terrible show, and they've got the what's his face who now plays the librarian guy on
Peter Avalon.
Yeah, Peter Avalon, but Dewey no, it wasn't Dewey Barnes. He was the other one. He was Nor Furnham there, right? And it's just god awful show. And out comes Willie Mack. And he's corny as all hell, but he was having fun. Willie Mack was having fun. And so you became a Willie Mack fan because the guy was just out there having fun. He didn't give a fuck. He was having fun. He comes to Impact Wrestling, and every time Willie Mack gets on my TV, he's having fun. And so yeah, I get it. He could be in better shape. I get it. He was never serious. He's not going to be a champ, blah, 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 right? But he's having fun. And there's something to be said about watching people that are having fun. So I like Willie Mack. So I'm a little pissed off he's going to AEW because he's going to wind up doing a dark elevation match every now and again and sitting at home. And maybe he wants to take 6 months or a year off. So he's going to wrestle for AEW once in a while. I don't know, but it's a terrible thing for him. He's just going to never be used because they have enough people like him already, and some of them are actually like better. But I want good things for him because he has fun, and when you're having fun, you're fun to watch.
Could you see Willie Mack being like Ring of Honor World Champion?
No, I don't.
Okay, so maybe tag team titles.
Maybe that's about that. If that, I mean, that's about it. Maybe if they brought Rich Swann over. Rich Swann's the reason I like Rich Swann. Rich Swann is always having fun. He's always having fun. He's a little dude. Rich Swann's tiny, right? But Rich Swann, it just always has fun.
When you're talking about the new #1 contender in Impact.
He has fun. I love Rich Swann. Don't mess with Rich.
Rich is a former world champion, Goldberg. I think at that point.
Rich is also from my hometown, so he's a Baltimore guy. But Rich is just fun. He has fun, and you gotta like that. Plus, he married that weird chick.
Yeah, Sue Young. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like the dead bride. It's like, dude, your husband's right over there. I don't get it.
Great character, by the way. I love Sue
Su
Young.
Young's awesome. She's
I,
great.
I think she's hot.
I need her. I need her back on my
Yeah,
TV.
I'm just
soon.
glad she's not in this trunk anymore. That's all. Glad they moved beyond that.
Oh gosh, yeah. Let's not go there. They got it sorted
Hey, you
out.
know what
Hopefully,
they did, and God bless them. They got a kid together, and they're happy, and people can not worry about what was only their business ever to begin with. You know.
that's right. That's right. So, and finally, now I got to make a statement here because I was accused of being a Santino Marella
I don't know
fan.
who would ever say that.
Yeah. So, of course, I had my expectations really high for a return of Eric Bischoff, and I get frickin' Santino Marella.
And you're still an Impact fan?
You know, I wanted Eric Bischoff. I mean, I wanted at least an appearance. Why would you promote something with the podcast if you're not going to use Eric Bischoff? I don't understand that. He was talking up the Bully Ray Josh Alexander match like, okay, maybe he's going to get involved or something, but nope, we got nothing. So major disappointment there with Santino. And here's another comedy guy, right? He's another comedy guy. He's funny just at first glance, okay? But what is the long-term goal to bring in a guy like Santino Marella at this point in his career? Like, I don't think he's going to wrestle.
Pearls.
Is he just going to be a
Pearls.
funny director of a party?
It's
I mean,
okay. It's okay to bring in Santino Marella. It's not okay to bring him in as a surprise.
yeah.
Bring him in
To hype
as
him
a
up, right?
joke so he can pal around with Johnny Swinger or something. Go ahead. Are you seriously making this? Is Tony Khan has made this mistake a lot of times, and he just did it. He just did the same thing with the mystery partner that everyone thought was going to be Sasha Banks, and Soraya's now teaming up with Tony Storm because nobody in AEW can be on their own ever. So now she's palling around with Tony Storm, but he just made that same mistake on a I guess a bigger level because nobody watches Impact unfortunately, but why bring him in as a surprise? He got me excited for Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, that was a major fail there. Major fail, if you ask me. That was something to do. To bring in even Bischoff for a month, dude, like you said, that would have at least been something. Because I would have, great. He's back on my TV. I can at least see him one more time, do something, maybe with Bully Ray. I don't know. But the point is, Santino Marella was not the answer. And just because he's Canadian doesn't mean you need to hire every Canadian. Like,
That's why they hired
my
him, though,
good.
because he's Canadian. His daughter
Of course.
wrestles too, right? Where does she wrestle?
Yeah, she's in WWE system, I
That's what I
believe.
thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah. Dude, any comments on Santino Marella?
No, it's just something else doesn't make any sense. It's just a letdown. Sorry, Santino.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did his best, but nobody gives a fuck. No, literally nobody.
It's actually astonishing that they would bring him in as a surprise. Like it's just crazy.
Okay, so here I'm going back to my point. Like, are we just getting old, or is that the standard going forward with anything? Not even just Impact. I'll even say WWE in there.
Is what the standard?
We don't have any big names.
Oh,
So Santino Marella is a big name
no,
apparently in 20.
no, I don't buy that. I don't buy that because it could have been Bischoff. Fuck, it could have been Dixie Carter, and people would have been more interested. It could have been
Okay. So take out the Attitude Era though. Who can you? I mean, Brock Lesnar.
No,
I mean, in this position,
no. It could have been. It could have been some former Impact name. Fuck, you know what? Who just got released by WWE today?
Okay, let's hear it. Yep, I know where you're going with this. Yep.
Oh God, I'm surprised that Tony Khan doesn't sign him in hopes of rekindling another match, another ladder match.
Well, it could have been.
All they need is Edge. I don't know whatever happened to Christian though. Whatever happened to Christian? He just disappeared.
What a shocker! Somebody disappeared from AEW television. Or color me fucking shocked. It could have been brother Devon. He could have interfered and helped his brother. If you really want to.
Oh, I agree.
It could have been him. And
We'll
you
get to
think
that.
WWE wouldn't have allowed it? He's gone anyway. They didn't give a shit. It could have been Devon. He could have come in and been the guy. Him and Ray could have been back in. Brother Ray could have been back in. Bully Ray, whatever. It could have been back in.
Oh,
Running the show. I mean, okay, dude, sorry, but like that would be more interesting than Santino Marella.
so Christian is
Yeah,
actually out for up to 9 months because he had arm surgery. So we might want to,
wow.
give Tony Khan a slight break on that one.
No break. He was being booked like shit anyway.
So let me ask you a question, Goldberg. Since you seem to know a lot about this, why was Devon released from WWE?
I can probably speculate.
I mean, I read the article y'all posted in our chat. If you read the article got posted,
Right.
you knew the answer.
But well, I mean, doesn't it have to do with his wanting to wrestle at WrestleCade?
He
thing?
wanted to be in Bully's corner for an independent match, and WWE said he couldn't do it.
Okay, so he got heat with the office
They wouldn't
for that move.
They wouldn't let him. He wasn't allowed to do it.
So why would they take it out of him? See,
They didn't.
Goldberg, you're never going to tell me on
I'm
WWE.
convinced he asked for his release.
Oh, okay.
I'm convinced that he went, wait a second here. This is bullshit. You know what? Let me go. I quit. And they went, okay, fine. You're done.
Smart move.
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm convinced he quit over that. But
probably already made money anyway.
Which is all the more reason why he wasn't going to be helping Bully Ray in Impact if he couldn't do it on an independent show.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's move on here. Let's go to AEW Dynamite. Dude, do you have any comments you want to make on Dynamite from this past week?
No, next time I see a storyline, I'll have a comment.
Okay, so nothing really.
Random matches that end as pathetically as that main event ended don't work.
Goldberg, would you like to comment on, or do you want to save that for later in the show?
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Dynamite. We're talking about Dynamite right now. Do you want to comment on anything that you saw in?
No. I mean, we know my thoughts on Dynamite. No, I'm good.
Okay.
If Jordan Disgrace is not on Dynamite, he's fapping somewhere else.
Hurls, would you like to make a comment about the best wrestling show ever?
I mean, Back to the Future. Kushida.
Who?
Just got a big win at Hard to Kill, and he got a title shot against Darby Allin.
Kushida?
Kushida. Come on, you know who Kushida is. He was in
WWE.
Take a shit. Kushida.
Everybody's shitting in AEW, man.
Take a shit. Kushida. Who cares? They're all the same.
You shit, I shit, we all shit.
Okay, let's dude, what is the next big angle going to be for the next pay-per-view? I guess the next main event match for AEW, and how would you like to see
it? It is the most novel story that you will ever see, and Tony Khan is writing it again. Actually, it is, you must go through all sorts of hoops to eventually, get an opportunity to wrestle MJF.
We haven't seen that one before.
No, this is novel. This is brand new.
How did he think of that? It's fucking brilliant.
It's insane. It's just incredible.
Has MJF's title reign been underwhelming so far, or what?
I got a question though, like for both of you. Like, is this a gimmick for MJF, or is this actually like, I don't want to wrestle that much? Like, I'm going to be like Hulk Hogan in WCW. I'm going to wrestle like 5 times a year.
Hogan wrestled all the time in WCW.
He fought in tag matches. I mean,
yeah, all the time, man. He was out there. He put himself out there.
Okay. So if we talk about his,
it was a big
97
big match feel. Is that what you mean, Hurls? Like when Hogan?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I agree, and I'm not comparing the two. Don't get that twisted. I'm just saying, where does a 20? What is he? 24, 25? Where does a guy like MJF come off to where he's Hogan? That's the
No, he's
problem
not
that
gonna
I
win.
have. But so is this MJF being like, is this just the way they're gonna book him,
Oh
or
yeah.
is this actually like MJF being like, oh, I'm only wrestling so many times, because he's very good at keeping kayfabe. I'll give him that. So
I,
this is just the way they're
I
Yeah,
booking him,
but
correct?
look, if you're MJF, you're saying to yourself, "What's the best way to prolong my career? Less of me." Right? So he's convinced Tony Khan the way to book him is to not book him and make everything be big for Tony Khan or for MJF. So Tony Khan, like an idiot, is paying this guy to wrestle like 5 or 6 times a year. Okay. And MJF is just watching his stock go up, up, up. And I know he's already re signed a long term deal and they're just not reporting it, blah, blah, blah. But this doesn't matter. It's going to give him extra years when he does come back up again. This is just Tony Khan being an imbecile. That's all it is.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Goldberg, you got any more
yeah, I just
comments?
think like trying to figure out why someone is booked a certain way in AEW is useless. It's because the booker is a moron. There's no deep dive into it. He's just a fucking idiot. He didn't know what he's doing.
He's booking week to week instead of year to year and month to month. That's all it is.
Right, right.
Every week is what can I do? And to be fair, Russo did a lot of that too. But Russo put storylines
He,
in, and he just accelerated them to the point where there was no such concept as a slow burn. Tony Khan is no burn whatsoever. It's a similar but different concept.
true, true. Russo just he does book week to week, and it just kind of goes with how the fan he changes it to how the fans are reacting. But the thing with Russo is, though, there was always a story.
Yes,
He was very story driven booker.
yes, it was always a story. It was
Bischoff
just too fast.
Bischoff is booking to 2025.
Right.
I mean, that's how Bischoff books. So he's gonna do the very payoff.
That's where those two
Which
actually, if things hadn't gone awry for reasons that were really out of both their control, those two actually could have been a great combination because
absolutely.
Russo could have done the detail work that Bischoff couldn't do, and Bischoff had the vision that Russo never had, and the two of them really could have made a decent pairing. They really could have.
Oh, they would have been magic. I agree. I think that would have been the best combo that we've ever seen in terms of writing. And believe it or not, it almost happened in '96. So I don't know if a lot of people know that story, but Bischoff wanted to get Russo when he was just starting in WWE, but just took the job. So
Probably better for everybody.
what could
No, actually,
that's
at the
true.
end of the day, Time Warner sold to AOL, and that's what did everything in. I mean, honestly, it because that hadn't happened, Bischoff would have got control of that company and done something with it, But then they didn't want to give him a TV slot, and the next thing you know, Vince has it. Anyway, I'll shut up now because I'm just getting pissed off and it's late.
We would have had the Big Bang. We would have had the Big Bang pay-per-view kicking off from Las Vegas. It would have been great. Anyways, Goldberg, are you feeding the dogs again?
That's not me, man. That's dude.
That's dude getting a water.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to go through every match here. I just going to run down some of the highlights that I liked from Hard to Kill and some of the stuff I didn't like at all. And I'm sure maybe Goldberg's got some of this for his gripe.
Fellas,
at the
since
end
you're making this transition, I am going to bug out and hit the sack because it's been a long day. So,
all right,
you all have
all right, everybody,
a wonderful evening.
That's all right. We'll see you next week, dude. All right, Goldberg. Let's run down this since dude is out.
I thought we'd never get rid of him.
So Hard to Kill, Goldberg. So I know you always go to the spoilers of Impact the next couple days, but what was your initial reaction of Hard to Kill? And I know there's one match that I'm pissed off about, and I saw how stupid it looked. But initial reaction. What did you think?
I mean, I was really bothered by the Santino Marella thing, but I know we already talked about that.
Right.
Which thing did you think was stupid that you thought I was going to bring up just now?
Well, why is Moose not wearing knee pads? First off, that he looks really stupid. Like he looks really stupid without
Well,
no knee
listen.
pads.
I mean, if we're gonna forget that, I mean, if we're gonna really talk about this, he shouldn't have been fighting for an Impact Digital Media Championship. Like, there's no way that Moose. And if you
Correct.
if we're gonna take Joe Hendry seriously, he shouldn't be either. Like at this point, that's just
Correct.
that title should be held by Johnny Swinger. I mean, it's just or Crazy Steve. Like, who gives a shit about that title? It's not a serious title, but the matches itself, I never have a problem with Impact's matches, and I skimmed through them. I didn't watch them like I used to, because I didn't watch this live and I didn't pay for it, so I kind of skimmed through it. But it the matches itself, I never have a problem with. I think they put on good matches, but um,
Well, Alexander versus Bully Ray was awesome.
yes,
There's no denying that.
well, it shouldn't.
That was a great match. It should have main
Close the
evented,
show.
but
There's no question. It should have closed the show, especially with Mickey James winning and not losing. If Mickey James lost, fine. You want to honor her and let her close the show out? Go ahead. She shouldn't have been closing the show if she's going to win that match. You know what I mean?
well, I agree. I think they did that to kind of swerve you.
That's
They
fair.
wanted to make it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I think I'm not too upset about that. But with Bully Ray and Josh Alexander and the type of match they were in,
Yeah.
I agree with you to that point. Like if this was a regular, title match, fine, make Mickey, Jordan. But I think with how brutal that match was and how they did some crazy spots, especially for Bully Ray being 50. I mean, you got to give it
Yeah,
up
he
to
can
him.
go.
Guy's still in great
Yeah,
shape
he can
too.
go.
Great shape. I mean, so but they actually, I mean, that was that was an amazing match. So I'm gonna give it props there. But the negative that I have was Henry beating Moose and the way it happened. It just looked really bad. It was almost like, I know I'm gonna get some heat when because I love Russo, but WCW 2000, like some of those matches were just really stupid. That's kind of how this match looked like, especially how they had to restart the match just to make Moose look
Yeah.
worse. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't like this at all. And I actually thought that feud could have been a good feud, but not for the Digital Media Championship. Like that title's got nothing for me. It does nothing for me. It's just like a
Would
waste.
you?
They have to figure out a way to get their own
All,
intercontinental
all,
title. Like,
yes, they should. Off. They also name the name of the title is ridiculous. Like they didn't. Yeah.
absolutely.
So, would you say AEW and Impact still have a working relationship?
I don't think they
No.
do really.
Okay.
I
Because
mean,
Jeff
I think
Jarrett could have been
Darian.
also the guy that showed up.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I honestly think like Tony Khan, the way he was lending Kazarian was like, I don't know what to do with you, so I'm just gonna let you wrestle in Impact. That's kind of how I
Yeah.
viewed
It
that.
also could have been Kurt Angle.
That
It
would have been
also it also could have been Christian since he's
that
out
would
of
have been
commission. Could have been him too.
somebody,
Yeah.
anybody.
All right. But regardless, what do you want to skim through this card real quick because
Yeah. We'll go down it. So we already talked about Alexander Bully. I mean, that match was phenomenal. I think when we're looking back at matches of the year, I think that'll be one that we should bring to the
yeah,
table
but
here.
Bully,
Um,
I just hope
yeah,
I know we're not talking spoilers, but I know he sticks around for this taping, but I really hope he's long. I hope he stays, man. He's good TV.
I think I think he's kind of hinted that he is
He's
staying.
he's he
So
makes for good TV, and I wish he
absolutely.
would have won. I wish he would have won that match.
And honestly, like I think I think he should have,
Yeah,
because I think that would have made things fresh.
that's
I I,
that's that's
I don't think
that's
you
my
get
thought too.
like,
That's
yeah, Alexander, he needs somebody with a lot of charisma, because I'll
doesn't
admit, like
have
I
any.
love the guy. I think
Yeah.
he's a phenomenal wrestler. I really do. I think he's I know you guys took this and ran with it. I never said he was better than Bret Hart, but he's of that same mold to me. But he needs a guy like that can actually, like a very charismatic guy, whether he's a heel or a face. He needs that
Listen,
partner.
he's got a nice build. He can go in the ring, but to me, he's just not that guy. He's just not that guy. That should be the longest reigning Impact champion of all time. He's just not that guy,
I
man.
can
And
I can absolutely, I can
and
buy that. I
and
I
I
can
can
believe
even
that.
see them doing it with someone like Eddie Edwards because he's just been around and he's like he could have been, I don't know, maybe not him, but I don't know. He just Alex
They got a lot of Benoits,
Alexander just
and what I
doesn't.
mean by that, they got a lot of workhorse. Like you could even say maybe even Eddie is kind of that character, and Josh, they're just amazing at what they do, but they got to get a little bit more personality, right?
Yeah, he just doesn't do it for me. Unfortunately, he doesn't do it for me. And I think his partner may have had a brighter future had he stayed.
Yeah, they. I mean, the guy's just got a big. I mean, he is called all ego,
Yeah,
so I don't. But I mean, he legit has a huge
yeah.
ego. I don't know if they put up with that, but um, all right. So the four-way tag team elimination match, uh, another really good match, and obviously, I think here the booking makes sense. Motor City Machine Guns go over. This makes sense because four other. You would think like, okay, they got to go against three other teams, but all they have to do is just pin any one of those teams. So I had no problem with the Guns retaining. I'm a huge Guns mark anyway. So what was your thoughts on this?
Um,
You wanted major players to win, though,
no,
correct?
no, I'm over them. I'm over them. I think
Okay.
they're both I think they're Good Brothers 2.0. Um,
Oh,
yeah, I think they're clowns, and
I they're at least putting effort in.
yeah, but they're jokers, and I think they're comedians. They like to have fun. They're not to be taken seriously in my opinion. And I don't want Heath and Rhino. It's time to move on from that. It's
Yeah.
it was nice. It's time to move on. And Ace Austin and Chris Bay, if you want to make them a tag team, that's fine. But they're not the Bullet Club. So can we
No,
not call them that?
they need something original. I agree. I'm done with the Bullet Club
Yeah,
crap. That was so
right,
2015, 2016. I don't care. I really don't.
right.
Uh, I'm I think we've already mentioned the Joe Henry Moose stuff, so we don't really need to go over that. It was just terrible all around. Even though I like both guys, I thought their feud was pretty funny, but that title just means nothing. Um, Now this I actually don't mind because I actually thought their match at Bound for Glory was actually really good. I'm actually a pretty big fan of Masha Slamovich. I think she's absolutely like an up and coming star in the women's division. She won the four-way match, so she's going to be the number one contender to Mickey James, and I could actually see her winning that. You got any comments on this? I know you're not huge into
No,
women's
I
wrestling,
don't
but
like women's wrestling, but I know they're doing something with Masha Slamovich.
yeah,
I could
yeah,
tell they're trying to make her the next big women's wrestler, and I just hope they stick to her only fighting women. That's all I could say.
I get it. I get it. Steve Macklin defeats Rich Swann, false count anywhere. I think that, I mean, that makes sense, right? Like we don't have it. We don't really have to go into
No,
it.
that makes a lot of sense.
Macklin's probably the guy that you would think has to face Alexander at the next pay per view, which is I think my goodness, what is their next like actual pay per view? But I think that's got to be the
I
main
think
event.
Bound for
So
Glory.
no, it's not Homecoming. It was hard to kill. I don't know. It's not Slammiversary. There's one before Slammiversary, and I'm just not thinking of it. But I think Macklin's got to wrestle. He's got to be the guy to beat Alexander. I think they can make a star there. Eddie Edwards defeated Jonathan Gresham. Now I was surprised by this one. Um, I thought they were going to have Gresham go over here because he's kind of like the new thing.
Wait, who did he fight? Oh,
Eddie Edwards defeated Jonathan Gresham.
yeah, that is surprising. That is surprising. I
Yeah, because Gresham's I like Gresham. I do. I actually think. I don't think he's world champion, but I like his throwback style. When I watch his matches, I think he does some pretty cool things in the ring. So I'm actually a fan of his, but I don't think he's like another guy, unfortunately. Just he's kind of another guy. So all right. And then the main event, which I was actually really happy that Mickey James defeated Jordan Grace
Yeah, I
here.
was
Um,
pleasantly surprised.
I don't think Mickey James should retire. I think she should keep going. Like she still does it at a high level. So unless she's like nagging with injuries like Gail Kim was at the end of her career, I think she's got to stay. And I think she should bring her husband in because that would be
You know,
big.
that would make me turn the channel. And he's not a world renowned star, but he's a big enough star in wrestling by today's standards. He's a heavyweight. He's a big guy. He's established, and let's face it, he started his career in TNA. So, and I will never forget. I've mentioned this before on the podcast. He was crowned by Sting to be the next big thing in wrestling. So,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's just too bad. Like his title reign in Impact could have been so much better. So like, I would love to see him come back in and like kind of rectify that.
well, he's gonna go
So
somewhere, right? I mean, he's not retiring, so
no, definitely not.
I hope it's not
Honestly,
AEW. God,
I don't think it'll be AEW. I think it's either going to be WWE or Impact, but who knows? Who knows? I know Booker T mentioned that WWE should give him a look, but
they
I,
might
I, I
because
don't
he's
know.
a
He's got
prototypical WWE looking guy.
yeah, heat in the locker room with Bruce Pritchard over something
Yeah.
stupid. So I'm not, sure. But I would think that's where he ends up, one of those two. So all right, that was hard to kill. I besides the Moose thing and the Santino, which really it was a huge letdown, especially with the hype. I thought it was a pretty good pay per view. I enjoyed a lot of the matches. I thought Eddie Edwards' Gresham was really good. Obviously, the main event I enjoyed, and Alexander Bully, and that was fantastic. So yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Not the best, but good. So hopefully, I don't know, but we're not going to go into the tapings. I know Impact was on tonight, but we're not gonna go into detail with that. So instead of doing the Hurls Hot Corner tonight, I thought we could do a new segment. Like I'm not saying the Hot Corner is going away, but I wanted to name this segment after you, Goldberg, because you always got some good takes. So we're gonna call this segment the Goldberg's Gripe,
I like it. I
and
like it.
I want to hear the Goldberg's Gripe. What do you got for me this week?
Before I say that, real quick, can we just mention that Kevin Nash? They did a wellness check on him, and he's safe. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I did not. I did not. Yeah, we didn't really bring that up in the podcast, but for anybody who doesn't know what happened, Kevin Nash was on his podcast with Sean Oliver, and he basically said that every day he's living with a gun to his mouth. And obviously, when you say something like that, you're gonna get people worried and concerned. So he was there's a local promoter here that's actually really good friends with Kevin Nash, and he called him pretty quickly, and Kevin said this is from the promoter's mouth that he said he would never do something with that, and Kevin's doing fine. He's just in pain with what happened. I mean, he lost his best friend, he lost his son. Obviously that's going to take a toll on anyone. So but I did not hear about the wellness check. Was this from WWE?
No, I think it was from the local police, actually. So yes, the sheriff's office.
Okay.
So
And he lives in Tampa Bay, correct?
I think Volusia County is Florida. So yeah, I think
Okay. Somewhere in Florida he
yeah.
lives. I thought it was Tampa, but
But yeah, okay, so back to the gripe. So I kind of posted this in the chat earlier, and I'll start off with a simple one. I don't know if this will be a reoccurring segment or not, but start off with a simple one that I know you'll agree with. I posted a video earlier in the chat today, I'm sure you remember, about a move done in WWE. You saw it, right?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
my biggest gripe, this is probably in my top three gripes of the wrestling business today is what the in-ring competition has turned into. And it's turned into a circus. It's turned into gymnastics. It's turned into, like, you see Cirque du Soleil. I don't know if you've ever been to that show, but it's not. It's just not wrestling anymore as I know it, as I knew it, and it's rare to find wrestling anymore that can be taken seriously. And I get it, people. We all know it's fake. I get it, or scripted. Um, right? Mr. Anderson would not like if we called it fake. Um,
Right. People are fake.
could have
Yes.
also been him. He could have been the mystery.
I was just
Could have
thinking
been
that.
him.
Yeah, there's
Could have
another
been
guy
him. But
you could bring.
anyone, really,
Yep.
anyone would have gone over better. But
Yeah.
so it's tough. We all know it's scripted, but I can only suspend my disbelief so far. And when you see moves, and I don't know, maybe you want to describe the move I posted in the chat, but when you see moves like
Yeah.
that, and you want to, I don't know, you want to try to.
Yeah, we could talk about. So what Goldberg's talking about was a match on NXT. Now I don't know the two competitors. It was a woman's match. The move, from the sound of it, they're trying to get over as her finisher, I believe. This was a shooting star press
Right.
into a cutter. So if you really think about
But the
this,
worst part is that the opponent leaned into it to take the move.
yeah, the opponent
This
has
is
to
the
walk to it.
equivalent of somebody standing outside the ring with their arms up, waiting for someone to jump onto them. Like, it makes no
Correct.
sense.
Correct. It was a horribly, terribly looking move. This would never happen in a fight.
Right.
Never. Wrestling, but it's too like unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
It is absolutely too unrealistic. It looks stupid. I don't know, especially WWE, how that was okay.
Right.
Like Shawn Michaels, like I know he was a high flyer, and I know he has a lot of pull in NXT. How could you okay this move?
Because
Like
that's my concern, is that this is where wrestling is headed. It's headed towards permanent gymnastics. It's trending in the wrong direction, not from the wrestling we knew and grew up on. It's trending in the
yeah.
other direction.
But that's what I'm saying. How does a guy like Shawn Michaels approve that?
I don't know. I don't know.
So he's obviously buying into this style. Triple H as well.
Let's hope they saw the backlash, because if you read the comments on the move, I didn't see one positive one.
Oh, it was horrible.
It's just it's really enough with this shit, and this is one reason why, and I'll save my other couple gripes maybe for another time, but this is a main reason why I can't watch wrestling anymore. I just can't. And it's also another reason why I enjoy, because here's the thing, Hurls. I like the flippy shit if you give me one match on the card that's like it. Because Impact or TNA, like when they used to have those pay-per-views, and I would sit there for 3 hours and watch the pay-per-views, every match, which was the last time I really watched wrestling religiously. I would watch every match, and there'd be one, maybe two, maybe a tag team match and an X Division match where they're flying around and they're flipping, but it also wasn't unrealistic flipping around and diving like the Young Bucks. It was like almost like
they picked their spots well.
And they flew over well. They weren't standing outside the ring for 10 minutes waiting for someone to jump over. It was more like the Elix Skipper move, which was like the way they did.
I mean,
like, just what? Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, like, okay, were some spots. I'm even gonna go in WCW, the cruiserweight, like the multi-man cruiserweight matches, where they're kind of all punching each other on the outside, waiting for the guy to go to the top rope and fly on them. You could argue with that spot, but that spot, if you do it well, and they're still punching and the guy jumps off, you're not going to see it coming. So that you can kind of it's believable still, if you do it well. This is so ridiculous. It takes the whole concept of gymnastics to another level, and I totally agree with you. And I have actually a Hurl's Hot Corner to kind of piggyback off of this.
Well, real quick before you do that, this is it's the word is rehearsed. Everything's rehearsed. It's they're waiting. They can't go off rehearsal. They can't change what they know because they don't know how. They don't know how to do it. If it's
Correct. I don't. It's terrible. Like they need to. Who's ever okayed this and not, they should be able to go in there and actually just put on a match without even knowing what they're going to do. I think that would be a good sign.
Yeah.
Like, how good of a wrestler are you?
Right.
You know. I agree. I absolutely agree. And you know what though? Everything goes in circles, right? So eventually the bottom's got to fall out of this. It's going to go out of style. They're going to have to be there's going to have to be another Eric Bischoff. There's going to have to be another Vince Russo. Something that makes sense. There's got to be someone that looks at this and be like, okay, enough. We've done enough of this. We need to start going back to basics and do some proper storytelling, because it's like this stuff, okay, you could argue started in the like mid 2000s, but it's jumped the shark. Like, this is officially jumped the shark moment right here. But I guess my other question to you then, not really a Hurl's Hot Corner, I guess, but just kind of going along with what you're saying, is with the audience, in my opinion, seems like it's shrinking every year. Is wrestling going to be around in 10 years? Is it going to be such a niche thing? Like, even WWE is like super niche?
Is a niche thing in my opinion. I think it already is turned into that. And here's the reason that I say that is because you've been to a few wrestling shows in recent years, right?
Yes.
You also
I bet last one was 2021
on social media. And I don't like to attack people. I don't like to make fun of people. Well, I guess I kind of do, but I in my opinion, wrestling has already changed to a niche thing where, like, if my girlfriend walks in and sees me watching, I'm embarrassed because it's just not cool anymore. It's not cool anymore. And the people that watch it, who I guess maybe started watching it in recent years, and not the people like us who have been watching for 25, 30 years, it's not the same crowd. When I used to go to the mall and I was 15 years old, there were wrestling shirts everywhere. Everyone was wearing a wrestling shirt. And mothers, fathers, kids, grandmas were at wrestling shows. Like, it was just such a different time, and that will never be brought back. It'll never be a family thing anymore. It's neckbeards now. That's what it is. Those are the fans.
I was actually going to say, it's like the crowd is like the people who, and I'm not trying to offend anyone here. It's not my intent, but it's the people who watch anime who go to these, nerd cons. And I have nothing against that. If that's what you're into, that's fine. Like, a lot of stuff that I do is very nerdy. I'll be the first to admit, but these people, that whole anime crowd, they take these stuff to like a whole new level, and it's just like, it's almost like an obsession. So you can't criticize anything anymore. You can't call something out if it's stupid.
That's also my a gripe I was going to bring up. I mean, social media has also ruined wrestling. I mean,
well, yes, that definitely. There was a time when they might have thought like, oh, maybe social media could enhance this. It actually backfired like 100%, and it's just opened up everything, and there's nothing like believable anymore. And I totally
that's why we
agree with you
respect when someone keeps kayfabe. I mean, that's why we appreciate it so much. But the fan base is the reason why wrestling will never, ever, ever get back to what it was, and it will continue to head towards a niche. And it's because of people like the Young Bucks. It's because of wrestlers like that, and it's just
they don't care.
They have no.
There was a reason those guys got heat on them back in the the early decade of 2010.
You can knock Jim Cornette, but he's got it right, man. He knows what he's talking about. There's a reason he's.
I mean, but let's also blame guys like Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez. They're also to blame for the way they treat wrestling. I mean, I love the Vince Russo podcast, man. They just blast them. all the time. And, Vince Russo calls out the stupid crap that now he's done a lot of stupid stuff. I'm not going to lie. He's not like, he's not, he's a different kind of stupid though.
Yeah.
He even goes on record saying that like these guys obsess about scripted
The
matches
ratings,
and
the
they like
5-star rating, bro. Give me.
correct. They care about match ratings. They don't care about
Imagine
TV ratings.
Hogan
That's
caring
the
about what
downfall.
Dave Meltzer is rating his match. That's a fucking embarrassment. Why would, like,
Absolutely.
Hogan would give a shit? Hogan cares about one thing: money.
Yep. And they don't care about it anymore. And it's taking its toll. Like it's just, there's not going to be enough fans to support this. And I think there's got to be someone with some common sense that gets to be in a position of power, because right now wrestling needs an intervention, right?
Without a doubt.
It needs an intervention.
Without a
So
doubt.
good gripe this week. I did not expect you going there with it. I think that was just a great way to kind of wrap things up. But Goldberg, you always got a final question here. So what, you got any final thoughts, questions?
No, I don't. Well, final thoughts is go check out Michael Elgin's latest tweets. This guy has gone completely off the rails.
Uh-oh. Still?
Yeah, man, he's definitely not coping well with losing his job, which I don't blame him. But
Gee. And I wish like someone would hire him, but he's not making it easy for
not
himself.
after that tweet. No.
Yeah. All right. I'll go check it out, but man, we don't need it. Ugh. That's a whole, that's like dark side of the ring territory right there.
Yeah. You got any final thoughts?
My final thoughts are really, I haven't been excited in a long time. I'm looking for something. There's guys I do enjoy, but like there's nothing that's making me go to the TV on a particular night of the week with excitement. It hasn't happened for a while.
Yeah, they should have given Bully Ray the title though. That would have somewhat interested me.
I agree. They need to freshen things up with the Alexander title reign. If you don't have,
here's another problem in wrestling, and we got to wrap this up. But here's another problem: is this whole like the longest title reigns, like that seems to be like a prominent thing right now. Like someone holding a title for a certain amount of, like, who cares? It doesn't put them over anymore. It doesn't make us look at Josh Alexander as the best of all time because he's held the title for so long. Like, we need interesting storylines, not
correct.
You can't just
I don't have a problem
title
with as your main story, right? Like that's not entertaining.
Story, right?
I don't have a problem with him holding that title for long, but you got to make it interesting along the way. And Bully Ray, I thought that was a good feud. I thought there was some good story, like the whole stuff with Scott D'Amore, Bully putting him through a table, and then obviously involving Josh's kids. Like that stuff it's good, but now what? Like that was such a good feud. You're Rich Swann, like really? Like,
terrible.
That's not gonna do anything. That's just, I mean, okay, unless you're looking at Impact Plus as just like a special show, like Clash of Champions, maybe. But man, this
terrible.
They need a feud. I want a good 3-month feud. I want some heat. I want Jake the Snake bringing his python out and attacking Savage with it. I brought that up in the chat, but that I mean that's heat, right? That's something we're going to talk about, Give us something.
All right. So one more thing before we sign off. Road Dogg has called CM Punk just another guy.
Honestly, I agree with him. I agree with the Road Dogg. I never thought CM Punk was anything special. I've been ever since.
Let me finish the quote. He's just a man, and he's kind of an a-hole.
Yeah, he's
I
not
could
wrong.
see that. I could see that.
He's not wrong at all. He's not wrong at all. I like it. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed the show this week. The Heelcast is out. Hopefully we'll be on next week, but hopefully we'll have something to talk about.
Later.
All right. Peace.